What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Taylor, back at it again with another video. I know I've been gone for a while, you guys haven't seen me. I had to go back to the drawing board, tweak a couple things that I saw. But we back at it with another video and a brand new series called Top 5 with TV, where I give you guys my top 5 list about everything under the sun. Now, before I get into my top 5 list, I want to talk about a couple guys who are really amazing, but they just didn't quite make my top 5. We'll call them the top 5 second team. First on my top 5 second team is Dr. J. Julius Erving. I personally think he's one of the more underrated legends in the game of basketball. He was the first guy to really bring that high flying style with the scoop layups and like really just dunking on people. I think he was the first to bring that when he came from the ABA to the NBA. Second on the top 5 second team is none other than the big fundamental Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan is another guy I think is very underrated. His low post game is probably the best in the history of basketball. He was so skillful. Like I said, his nickname was the big fundamental. He did everything the right way in terms of being professional, being at practice, and he was just in a really good system as well over there with Pop and the Spurs. And so Timmy D, definitely great player, just didn't quite make it. Next on the list is a guy by the name of Kobe Bean Bryant. For me, or anybody who was born in the late 90s and had the opportunity to watch Kobe's career, understands the magnitude of what Kobe brought to the game of basketball. Think about it. Anytime you shoot a paper ball in a trash can, you yelling Kobe. Everyone can remember where they were on his last game. I remember vividly sitting in my dorm room watching this in awe. Rest in peace, Kobe. You will be missed, but your impact on the game of basketball will always be here. Coming in at number 5 on my list is none other than the most dominant player in the history of basketball, and that is Mr. Shaquille O'Neal. I put Shaq at number 5 simply because of what I just said. He is the most dominant player in the history of basketball. He was an immovable force. If he caught the ball on the low post, it was a bucket more times than not. The thing that I think is crazy every time that I talk about Shaq or think about Shaq is the fact that he had more in the tank if he would have like taken care of his body and, you know, done all those things that he's, you know, come out and talk about that he wish he would have done. I think he was a lot more skilled than we give him credit for. If you remember earlier in his career when he was with the Magic and back at LSU, when he was in shape and that he was taking the ball up the floor, going coast to coast, that kind of thing. And he did those things with the Lakers in a very small way, but nothing like he did with the Magic or in college. But Shaq being the most dominant player ever, number 5, no questions asked. At number 4 on this list is a guy who is still currently competing in the bubble for a championship, and is Mr. LeBron James. Love him or hate him, you can't deny his talent. You can't deny the fact that he is one of the most versatile players to ever step on a basketball court. Bron is definitely a guy who is uber athletic, as we all know. He's done the crazy dunks. The pictures are insane, and I think when we look back at it years from now, I'm like, man, those pictures are crazy. Kind of like how we look at the Jordan, you know, free throw line dunk pictures and all of those. He can play 1 through 5. Well, really, I guess you could say 1. Yeah, he plays 1 through 5 on defense, or he can. And then he also on offense can be your point guard, or he can be your center if you need him to be. I think LeBron's versatility definitely, you know, grants him a spot in my top 5. Coming in at number 3 on this list is the guy that I think is the most underrated player in the history of the NBA. He goes by the name, the Big O, Oscar Robertson. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, Facebook, any of those things for the past couple years, and you know I've been big on this Oscar Robertson train. If you don't believe me, why don't we just go to the statistics? Oscar Robertson, for his career, averaged 25 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 9.5 assists. Now, those are some pretty good stats. 60s, 70s, 80s, I don't care where you play. Those are good stats still to this day. But let's break those down a little bit. Let's talk about them a little bit more. And this is going to be crazy. As a rookie, he averaged 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 9.7 assists. As a rookie, he almost averaged a triple-double. Well, honestly, he basically averaged a triple-double as a rookie. Let's just give it to him. Let's round up. Let's give it to him. So the next year, he upped his scoring average by 0.3 points. He then averaged a triple-double with 11.4 assists, excuse me, and 12.5 rebounds. And yes, you can say, well, it was in the 60s. I personally think that's what makes it crazy. It was in the 60s when they didn't have all the technology. They didn't have a three-point line. These dudes were out here literally running a motion offense and like we do in high school, and he was out here getting buckets, and giving other people buckets and grabbing boards as a point guard. And if we keep going with the seasons, 28, 9, and 10 his third year, 31, 11, and 9 his fourth year, 30, 11, and 9 his fifth year, 31, 11, and 7, 30, 10, and 6, 29, 9, and 6. I could keep going. His worst season, I guess you could say, in his prime was 25, 8, and 6. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So Oscar Robertson is number 3 on my list, and he should be number 3 on all of you guys' list. The next guy on my list is someone who, like Oscar, is discounted because of the time that they played in. He's the only guy that has ever scored 100 points in an NBA game. He is known as the record book, the Big Dipper. Yes, I'm talking about Wilt the Steel Chamberlain. I personally don't think you can have a top 5 list without Wilt. I know I talked about Shaq and how dominant he was, but Wilt in his day was unstoppable. And I know he gets a lot of flack for that, but he can't help when he played basketball. And like I tell people, at the end of the day, it's still basketball. So even if you want to say that, oh, well, he played against lesser competition, if you take his stats and put him in today's world and kind of, you know, did all the advanced analytics, he would still be dominant statistically. Obviously, we don't know how he would actually fare, but statistically speaking, he would be dominant. So for a career, he averaged 30 points and 22 rebounds and 4 assists. So he was a solid little passer too. As a rookie, bro, he averaged 37 and 27. As a rookie. Then the next year, it's 38 and 27, and then it just gets stupid. His third year in the league. We still talking about guys getting their footing in the third year in the league. They ain't reached their prime yet in the third year in the league. What Wilt do in the third year of the league? Wilt said, man, I'm going to go out here and drop 50, and I'm going to get 25 boards, and I'm going to dish the ball 3 times. I can't imagine in today's world what it would look like for someone to average 50 a game and also get 25 rebounds. Like, that would be insane to me. Wilt the Steel Chamberlain is number 2 on my list, and like Oscar, he should also be at that same spot on your list. Now, for numero uno of my top 5 list, it is none other than the man whose jersey I'm repping right now, the GOAT, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. I've had so many arguments over the years about why I think he's the GOAT, and there's so many different reasons why. I mean, obviously they just made a 10-part documentary to give us more if we didn't have any. I personally think Mike's the GOAT for 2 different reasons. First, off the court, I believe he changed the game in terms of marketing and the way that athletes are perceived. I believe that helped sports in general. It allowed the talent and the athletes to get some of the money that they should have been earning as far as being a brand. As far as on the court, I'm just going to read it to you. 10-time scoring champ, 14-time All-Star, 6 rings, 11-time All-NBA, 9-time All-Defensive. He was on the All-Rookie team, the 3-time All-Star Game MVP, 6-time Finals MVP to go along with those 6 rings, 5-time MVP. He also won Rookie of the Year. But my favorite one is his Defensive Player of the Year award. To me, that is the one that stands out the most because he won it as a guard, and I personally do not remember the last time a guard won the Defensive Player of the Year award. Like I said, he is greatness personified. The things that he did in the moments that he did them in is kind of like Tom Brady in football. For some people, they don't want to give it to him. You don't want to give it to him, but you got to. He's the GOAT. So that'll do it for the first episode of Top 5 with TV. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys liked my list. If you didn't, or if you want to talk about your own list, put it in the comments below. And please remember to give this video a like, and if you love to, I would love it if you would subscribe to me so you can get more of this content. That'll do it. Peace.